Welcome to #Wednesdays Weekly, a weekly information session in collaboration with voluntary sector and public sector partners. This week, the session is hosted by Steph Rush from Rochdale Borough Council, and the session is on the Youth Hub. Over to you, Steph.
Thanks, Hayley. Yeah, so my name's Steph Rush and I'm the Work Health and Skills Manager at Rochdale Council. And as a team, we're involved in lots of different programmes and initiatives that support people into work, stay in work, and also training courses. And I think a number of videos are on the YouTube link, so I'd urge you to look at those additional ones. As a team, we also deliver some programmes and are involved in some initiatives as well. Most notably, the Single Access Point, the Get Rochdale Working Facebook page, which I would encourage anybody to sign up to. And we have lots of connections with the Youth Hub on there and opportunities that are available for young people. We've also got the ESOL Advice Service. We deliver a programme called Talk English. And we're also involved in supporting some people from our ethnic communities with promoting health and encouraging more people to take up the vaccine. And we're also involved with the Get Active agenda, trying to embed that in more employability programmes, because that's an issue for some of our residents. And the thing that I'm here to talk to you today about is the actual Youth Hub. So the Youth Hub is in partnership with the Department for Work and Pensions, and it is for 16 to 24-year-olds living in the borough. So there was a big government push for job centres to set up youth hubs in towns for their customers, for people on universal credit. So we work really closely with the job centre and our partnership manager, and she asked if we would like to be involved because she knows about a lot of the pieces of work that we do in our Single Access Point. And we said, yeah, we'd love to be involved. So, but we would rather, we want to open this service and our offer of support to people out more than just UC customers, more than job centre customers. So this service and support is available to anybody in the borough 16 to 24, including those on universal credit or other benefits. What that means is that, you know, we can do a lot of preventative work as well. So we're hoping that we can prevent people going on to benefits, but also it in terms of scale of economies, it just makes much better sense to support the wider population of that age group, just so we can link in with all our other provision that's available for that age group. What it might mean if there's people that aren't on universal credit or benefits, it might mean that they're not eligible for all the different pathways and programs, but there is something for everybody, and we have got a really good offer in the borough, and it's probably one of the most it's probably one of the best youth hubs, I think, across GM, and it's already been seen as good practice, and there's been a lot of interest, especially from the Department of Work and Pensions, trying to encourage other areas to do something similar. So what is the Youth Hub? So we have a single access point for anybody to make referrals into our Youth Hub. So that can be from the Department for Work and Pensions, the job centre, it can be self-referrals, it can be by programmes working with young people or young people themselves. And at the moment, we take referrals through those channels, and we then link them in. We have some designated key workers that are working on the Youth Hub that are supporting job centre coaches and complementing what they do. And they're offering intensive careers, guidance, counselling and holistic support for those young people. We're getting such a broad range of young people. So some people might be very near the labour market and just need some advice on retraining. They might have lost the job due to the pandemic and just not know where to go. But one of the groups of people that we're really keen to try and support are those with more complex barriers and those probably further away from the labour market. That sometimes, you know, the job centre can only do so much, so we can really do some more outreach work with those young people. We're hoping to do a lot more face-to-face work. We're already doing some face-to-face work at the moment, but we hope in partnership with the DWP to have some physical localities. So I can give you some updates further along the line when we're when we have those buildings set up, which I think is key. It's absolutely essential that we start offering more face-to-face work. So we have these designated workers, and I don't know if people are aware, so we have intensive support for people up to the age of 18, and there's always been a gap pre the pandemic for that intensive careers counselling support for people who are over 18. So that's really the gap that we're plugging with this youth hub. In addition to, so what those key workers will do is they will help them navigate the pathway, the best pathway, and give them some careers advice, and they'll support them along that journey. But what they'll also do is look at any other issues and linking with all the other services that can provide support for those young people. And that's why it's been really useful having staff sit with us, the work and skills team, because we've got great connections with our housing providers, mental health services, with CAB, people to give some money management, and we've got all the links to the training that's available. But in addition to that, we've got some additional support. And one of those initiatives is we work closely with Rochdale Connections Trust. So if a young person would benefit from a mentor, then we can link them in with mentors. And we've got Lauren actually who leads on that for us from Rochdale Connections Trust. So Lauren, do you want to talk a little bit about the support that the mentors can provide for the young people that come through the Youth Hub?
Yes, thanks, Steph. So we've been accepting some referrals already from the Youth Hub for young people 18 to 24. They've got a whole range of additional support needs, really. You know, some of them can closely at the matching process and pair those referrals through those young people with a mentor who we think would be really best suited to support them. So we've one young person that we've been supporting just recently isn't from the local area. She's moved into the borough, doesn't really know her way around the area, is struggling with things like the bus timetables, you know, and what routes are available, doesn't really know Rochdale town centre, is very, very isolated, and the mentor I've paired her with has been doing some just kind of outreach work, really, going, boosting her confidence, showing her around the area, supporting her on bus journeys, and you know, giving her the praise and recognition when she's achieving those things. Simple things like finding out which bus stand that a young person needs to be at to get whichever bus, but just kind of taking a leading role and hand holding almost with some of these young people. So yeah, it's a kind of a wraparound service. We look at exactly what that young person needs, what's going on for them, which areas that we can help with. And like I said, the matching process is so important because they need to be able to kind of have either similar interests or just that nurturing approach that somebody might need. And each person is really individual and quite specific in their requirements. And we're looking at that very, very closely, and just providing that one-to-one, that support that they need, that wraparound. You know, there's different services at Rochdale Connections Trust around relationships, domestic abuse, counselling, and we've been running the mentoring project for so many years, but with secondary school age children, really, and actually have identified that this is a massive need for older young people. So in partnership with the local authority, I think it's really getting off the ground and it's working really, really well.
Yeah, it's a brilliant extra resource, Lauren. And it's hoped as well that once somebody's maybe on a training course and they might need some just additional support, someone to check in with, or if the tutor notices
they've been kind of contacting them, making sure they're out of bed in the morning. If they've got an interview coming up, are they prepared for the interview? Even stripping it right back to finding out how they got on at school, if they need any assistance kind of with functional skills, that sort of stuff, and finding those opportunities, drafting CVs, just wherever they need it. You know, we've had one young person who didn't have a bank account, and one of our mentors has kind of took the role in that and supported them in doing that. We're not doing it for them, we're just supporting them in doing it, and it's giving them the confidence that actually they can go on and to find out these, you know, how to do things, applying for passports, driving licenses, anything that they kind of need to succeed.
Yeah, and they working really closely with our key workers that are, you know, really looking at all the other stuff that's going on in a person's life and the pathways. So just to talk about some of the pathways that we support young people onto, I think that might be useful. You know, we've got links to traineeships, apprenticeships. Kickstart program is a big initiative at the moment, and we're a Kickstart employer internally. So we're linking lots of young people coming through to some of our vacancies. We've also got links to training courses, and as a team we're responsible now to make sure our adult education budget courses are linked to business needs and residents' needs. So again, if we're getting people coming through and there's some training gaps, we're able as a team as well to influence the provision that's available. We also work really closely with employers and Rochdale Development Agency. So again, we've got lots of employees coming forward at the moment, which is great, with job vacancies. So again, we're able to link those that have just come out of work and need additional support finding a job. We can link them in very quickly back into work. But for me, I think that the key for the Youth Hub is it's a group that's been most affected, as we know, by the pandemic. They're some of the first. Young people are often the first to be furloughed and lose the jobs if they're in work. So I think it's really key that we've got this initiative, but also to really support a lot of big programs and a lot of big DWP initiatives are very much supporting people who are newly unemployed. So it's and the job centre have got a lot of youth advisors now and additional employment support for this group, which is brilliant. But I guess in terms of local authority and our role with the Youth Hub is to definitely make sure those already out of work with a lot of barriers don't get left further behind. So again, I guess that's really our focus of attention, although we are open to anybody and we're getting lots of people like graduates through as well. But that's it really at the Youth Hub. But we're also keen to support people when they're on a pathway that it doesn't stop if a training program ends, that we've got that progression. So for example, Kickstart, internally we're making sure where we can that those Kickstart placements are converted to a real job or an apprenticeship. So again, it's linked in with all our wider work that we do as a team. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions about the Youth Hub.
I haven't got a question specific about the Youth Hub, but we've just been approved for Kickstart. We haven't got into the process of actually recruiting yet. So it would be useful if I've got obviously a bit of an idea about it, but it'd be useful to get some bit more background from your perspective on that, how it works, and how that benefit. We'd love to talk to you. Sarah Pollard in the team leads on Kickstart. So obviously it's the lead for internal vacancies, and we're classed as a Kickstart employer, but that also includes partners. So for example, some of our young people might be on a placement across different services or working with different organisations that say we commission. So for example, we've got someone working in the Big Life Living Well services. That's just that we're supporting, but they come under, they come under us as a Kickstart employer. But we're also doing lots of work with the DWP and external employers, David, as well, because a key thing for us is around Kickstart that training isn't mandatory, but because of our connections with some of our training providers, they've got some really good offers that they can offer while somebody's on a placement or some pre-recruitment as well. So I'm more than happy to share that provision with you as well, and talk through what our experience is internally and linking some of our, maybe if somebody needed a mentor, that was one of the more than happy to, if you get a young person, link in with a mentor if that's something they would benefit from. But also if you identify some additional issues that isn't work related, if someone's got issues with housing or health, you can link into our single access point and we can look at providing some support there as well, especially if it means the person might lose the job. We're really keen to look at supporting and helping that person, and with a progression route as well.
That's great. It would be useful for me to speak then to Sarah, perhaps, because it's something obviously it's new to us as an organisation.
We do, you know, we specialise in training. It's what we do, but we don't specialise it in terms of training for the workplace and actual job roles. So we've got a skills gap there, and that's something we're really aware of. And I think we could benefit from the experience you've got around implementing the scheme.
Brilliant. There's also lots, I suppose it's a good opportunity because of the work that we're involved in. There's lots of training for the workforce and businesses. So again, love to link in there and look at any skills gaps. There's lots of training that's free of charge at the moment for workforces and businesses. So again, definitely need to have a catch up, David.
Has anybody else got any thoughts or questions for Steph? No.
I guess, can I ask outside the recording then, has that helped you understand? So if anybody's interested in making a referral into the Youth Hub, then the email address is jobsandskills@rochdale.gov.uk. And that's the same email address for our single access point. There should be a link. So if anybody hasn't made a note of that, and some more details about what I've covered attached to this video. Thank you.